Nebraska-sponsored race car. Alongside is Richard Savory, car number 99. 6 rows back, it's Jeff Gallup, the number 4, and Matt Mead. Rob Rishardi, car number 33, and David Schneider.
Then it's Donnie Lashua starting 17th, Chris Buckeye, the 18th spot, Colby Fortier's 19th, Brandon Dion 20th, Jimmy Dolan's going to roll off in the 21st spot, Roy Seidel the 22, Bill Dixon down from Maine, North Waterboro, Maine is in the 33 ME.
Ladies and gentlemen, here they come off turn number 4. Get up, give them a wave, give them a shout. This is the Valente Modified Racing Series. As they wind them up tight off turn number 4, we are green and racing here at Stafford.
And that we are, as Etheridge going to go to work on the outside of Pettick going into the number 1 corner. Pettick's going to take the point off of turn number 2 as they jump off the turn down the back straightaway.
There's no question about it. It is Rowan Pettick. He picks up where he left off. He won the first stop here at the Stafford Motor Speedway. But here comes the Woodman, Woody Pitcat, looking for some racing room to the bottom.
Dylan Kovac strong down low as they work into turn number 1. He is right in front of TC in that 00 car. So it is Kovac running third, chasing Pitcat.
There's no question about it. Keep your eyes on David Etheridge. He once called his home the Stafford Motor Speedway. Car number 34 sets in position number 5. But here comes John McKennedy, the hottest driver in this series in 2016. McKennedy is coming to the front with a vengeance. He's bringing with him as the tail that wags the dog, Chris Pastriak with car number 15, Connecticut.
And right behind is going to be car number 4, Jeffrey Gallup, the Feeding Hills, Massachusetts youngster, is in that red number 4 car. Stays right there with Pastriak going into the turn. They are settling into a freight train down the back straightaway, but look at the pressure coming from TC and Woody Pitcat.
Woody Pitcat bonsais into the bottom. Off the turn, first lead change of the event. Lap number 3, Woody Pitcat becomes the brand new leader. Rowan Pettick drops back to second, but here comes Ted Christopher. Christopher, the fastest car on the racetrack, 19.044. Back up front, Pitcat is still the leader. Meanwhile, Pastriak works over John McKennedy.
The 52 has been a victory lane this year. Claremont, New Hampshire, earlier in the season with Todd Zegedy filling in for Woody Pitcat, who had another commitment. Pitcat still looking for the first win for Stebbins Racing. Maybe it could come here tonight.
He certainly looks strong at the point. Meanwhile, it is Chris Kopeck setting in his son, Dylan Kopeck, setting in the 4th position. Further back, side-by-side racing, car number 4, Jeff Gallup is coming to the front of the field. Another mover is Richard Savory. Savory started with the number 99 car back on the outside of row number 6, and he is also making his presence known as he goes to the outside of Chris Pastriak.
Solid in 6th spot right now is Dan Meservey Jr., the Brewster, Massachusetts driver. He is in the 6th position and doing a nice job. Solid as Gallup just went by and moves up another notch.
1 year ago, Woody Pitcat was Superman in the Valente Modified Racing Series. He dominated the racing action here at Stafford. Here comes Ted Christopher. Last time the Valente Series was here at Stafford, Christopher was the big dog. He's in second. He's all over Woody Pitcat. Crossover move. We've got Ted Christopher, leader number 3 in 8 circuits.
Shot off that number 2 turn down the back straightaway. A lightning bolt, and he has got the top spot right now. Teddy wants to lead it early on here, and he's doing that as they work off the second turn. 9 completed laps.
There's no question about it. Dylan Kopeck, the youngster, is trying to run with the big dogs tonight, and Dylan Kopeck is at home here at Stafford. He graduated from the SK Light Division, and he is not done yet. Further back at the bottom of the top 10, John McKennedy is 9th, Chris Pastriak is 10th, and Mike Willis sets in the 11th spot.
He does, and running in the 8th spot, let's not forget Richard Savory, car number 99. He is solid in the 8th position right now as they get set to complete lap number 11.
11 of 80 circuits, 3 lead changes in 11 circuits. Leader is still Ted Christopher. He comes off the turn like a rocket. Rowan Pettick settling back into the 3rd spot. Now remember, Pettick is very patient. Pettick, Christopher, and Woody Pitcat have perhaps more laps on this racetrack than any other competitors in the field, and they are showing just that. Patience is a virtue. Further back, Chris Pastriak is working over John McKennedy. McKennedy hasn't moved up yet, but there's a long way to go.
Interesting to note, Ben, car number 4, Jeffrey Gallup, has the fastest lap time right now at an 18.818, and Gallup has come right up behind Meservey.
He certainly has. And Gallup is running like he is possessed with that number 4 car. Savory is closing up the gap as well. 5 cars run single file off the turn. And look at Dylan Kopech. He has that chrome horn glued to the back I-beam bumper of Rowan Pennick. And when you can run with Pennick here at Stafford, John, that's really saying something.
It certainly is. And you know what? I believe this is only his 3rd appearance of 2016. So his dad Chris, the crew, everybody involved with the M6 has got to be happy with the way that car has run to date.
This kid has a big smile on his face every time he goes racing, and he is smiling behind the wheel of that race car as we can speak. Dylan Kopech, a graduate from the go-karts on Monday night to the SK Lights. He's adjusting well to the Valente Series here at Stafford. Meanwhile, keep your eyes on David Etheridge, setting back in that 5th spot. But Gallup isn't done yet. The fastest lap of the race turned by Gallup, that red number 4 car, and the color red is raging to get to the front of the field.
Talking to Charlie Pastriak earlier, he said they basically rebuilt this number 15 car with parts from his blue modified, and he said it would have been just as easy and simple to just put the different body on this car.
It certainly was. That car went to Northeast Race Cars, and it was rebuilt, but right now, single file as he snakes off the turn, it is Ted Christopher. What a story. Christopher, last time here at Stafford, dominated the Valente Modified Racing Series. It was the feel-good story of the week when Christopher, in Joe Brady's race car, with Brady passing during the off-season, Joe Brady's kids and family have got together and they formed this race team in memory of their dad, and it is working. Wherever the 00 shows up, it is a contender, and that is the story here today.
And he's doing a great job here. Jumped out in front early on, and he's the pace setter right now. Pitcat is right there in his wake down the front straightaway. Good to see Rowan Pennick and the Gary Casella 25 back in competition with the MRS. We have not seen them for a few weeks.
Of course, he won the first stop here we had at Stafford in this series. He is currently in the 3rd spot, and I don't think Rowan Pennick is done yet. He knows tire management, and that is the story. These competitors, as John knows, they don't have the luxury of going down a pit road and putting on 2 more field goods. They have to be patient, and they have to make the car go the distance. 80 laps is the distance. 21 circuits are down.
I think the 80 laps is really special here at Stafford Motor Speedway, and especially when you think back to the original Spring Sizzler, this is a sprint. That's how that race was viewed back then, as you will recall, a sprint. And this is the way this whole concept has worked out, and it's worked out very well for the MRS when we come here.
It certainly has. They're coming up on lap traffic. The competitor from Maine, Dixon, in the 33 Maine car, will be the first car to go down the lap. Directly in front of him is Roy Seidel. Now, Woody Pitcat, he has had a roller coaster season driving for this number 52 car. They have shown brilliance running up front, but mechanical woes have sidelined them. They've been involved in some jingles that are no fault of their own, but right now, it is Woody Pitcat holding on in that catbird seat with that number 52 car. Savory is quick. He is moving in on Gallup. I don't think Richard Savory is to be counted out of this one.
And still, throw an eye on John McKennedy, the master in tire maintenance, hanging back there. He is right now in the 9th spot. Chris Pastriak is back there with him. Is that a plan?
It could be a plan because we are not even to the halfway point in this event. So far, Ted Christopher, earlier today, Christopher says, I only need to run 1 practice. I want to save the tires. I know this track better than most, and he is showing that right now. But the same can be said of Woody Pitcat because Pitcat is high on the list of all-time winners here at Stafford as well. And Pitcat can drive the wheels off any race car just like Ted Christopher does.
I'll tell you, Ben, I am impressed with Jeffrey Gallup. He had that fast lap time, still holding at 18.818. As they head down the back straightaway, Pitcat's going to make a move to the inside, and he may take the lead. He does.
He certainly does. Another lead change goes into the record books. Lap 27, Woody Pitcat out in front like days of old. He's the dominant car in the number 1 spot. Second is Christopher, and still it is the number 25 Machina Pettick. Look at Jeff Gallup. Gallup moves up and picks up another spot. He moves around Dylan Kopech. Jeff Gallup is up to the 5th position. Gallup started 13th on the grid. He is making his presence known and running to the front of the field. And here comes Richard Savory.
Yeah, you figure Savory's going to go roll up the sleeves here pretty quick and go to work. But Gallup is continuing to impress. This really, truly is his best run with the MRS.
Here's a surprise. David Etheridge is the second quickest car on the racetrack. 18.913. So David Etheridge, remember the last time we were here, Josh?
Yes.
Etheridge surprised everyone. He came on strong at the halfway point, and he was a shoo-in to finish on the podium.
31 laps are in the books, so we are getting closer to the halfway point at lap number 40. And we'll continue to look back at John McKennedy and also Chris Pastriak to see if they have anything to giddy up and get toward the front.
They certainly do, and traffic is going to be the story coming up. Another competitor that hasn't been with the series much this season is Jim Dolan, car number 69. Dolan went out and visited a couple of old tracks that he used to run from the upstate New York and Pennsylvania marketplace, but now here comes the leaders, and they are about to put Dolan down a lap in the competition here.
Cautions on the speedway for the first time. Roy Seidel off the speedway.
On the podium, it's done very well and very, very strong. We want to keep our eyes on the number 117 car because it too usually comes on late in the event.
It does. Jack Bateman changing the engine program in his modifieds. He has this car. He also has a car that he feels for his grandson who finished second last weekend up at Claremont, New Hampshire. 16-year-old driver. And I talked to a few people at Oxford Plains last Saturday night, and they were doing the old wow. The kid looked really, really at home.
He's been very strong and very consistent. He came from dirt track competition. His mom, Chrissy, is the lady that keeps things under tow on the Valente Modified Series. The green flag is back out, and Woody Pitcat digs in on the bottom. Ted Christopher runs the high line, and we called it Rowan Pettick. He's not done yet. He's been saving those feel-goods as he makes his magic on the bottom. Here comes the Red Baron, and the scarf is out, and he is flying to get to the front of the field.
Two drivers that have already been in victory lane with the MRS here at Stafford Springs, going after Woody Pitcat. Pennick's up to the second spot. TC runs in third. Look at David Etheridge, huh? Solid fourth place at 99. Richard Savory right now is in the nickel hole.
And keep your eyes on John McKennedy. John Spence called it best when he said McKennedy is a guy who knows how to save his tires and equipment. John McKennedy is up to the 7th spot. And who's the tail that wags the dog there? It is Chris Pastriak running in the 8th position. Back up front, stepping out of line, Richard Savory. What a move. Moves to the inside of David Etheridge, shakes him off like a dog who has fleas.
He certainly did, and I'll tell you, he is on a roll right now. He is looking at the back of the Brady Bunch 00 car. He's going to try to close up and see if he can contest for the 3rd spot with TC. Good run going for Richard Savory.
Certainly is, and just as impressive is still Jeff Gallup. Back to the bottom of the top 10. Good battle there with the Willis kid, along with the number M6 of Dylan Kopech and the number 19 machine of Schneider. Leader of the pack, Woody Pitcat, one of Stafford's all-time favorites and all-time best. Fastest car on the racetrack, Richard Savory. Savory, second-generation driver, son of a legend in the sport of auto racing, and Savory has now found a home in 4th. And John, I don't think he's done yet. Savory is coming forward.
He certainly is, and has been pointed out here in the. Well, we got action over there. McKennedy's going to the inside of Gallup, and Pastriak is following through 3 and 4.
Wherever John McKennedy goes, Pastriak wants to go, and so far, that dynamic duo is making its presence known. Back up front, look out, here's the halfway. Halfway down and halfway to go, the cream is rising to the top.
It certainly is at the halfway mark. reached the halfway mark. 40 laps in, 40 laps remaining in the Valenti Modified Racing Series 80 here at Stafford Springs Motor Speedway tonight. And look at McKennedy, huh? He's trying to pedal as fast as he can to catch up to David Etheridge.
He certainly is. He currently sets in the 6th position. We'll set the field for you just past the halfway. Woody Pitcat, the leader. Rowan Pennick is 2nd. Christopher is 3rd. Savory is 4th. David Etheridge is in the 5 spot.
Alrighty. 41 laps in. Woody Pitcat is they're the 19.067 on the last lap for the race leader. Give you an idea how fast the Stebbins Racing 52 car is running here tonight.
Certainly is, and they have worked so hard to put this combination back together. And on home turf here in Stafford, Woody Pitcat would like nothing better than to be the big dog in tonight's Valenti Modified Racing Series 80. Christopher's car is suddenly becoming evil. It is going away, and Richard Savory's car is suddenly becoming stronger as Savory runs in the tire tracks. Car number 99 runs right in the tire tracks of Ted Christopher. That is the hot spot on the racetrack.
Dave Etheridge is 5th. 6th is car number 29, John McKennedy. Chris Pastriak runs 7th. Jeff Gallup is 8th. Mike Willis 9th, and David Schneider is in 10th spot.
Richard Savory just tested the waters down underneath Ted Christopher. But as abruptly as the door opened, it slammed shut. But Savory's going to try it again. Different strategy this time, John. He made a bid for the outside, but he couldn't make the move. But here comes Etheridge, and right there with him is John McKennedy.
Right on his bumper, coming off turn number 4. Car number 29 has rapidly caught up to the back of the number 34 modified. So we'll keep an eye on that, Ben, see how that plays out. Look at Savory. He's going right after TC. Took a peek at the bottom, lifted going into turn number 3. Looks like he might try to finish the deal here on the front straightaway.
He certainly does. He'll work his magic to the inside. Richard Savory has moved into the 3rd spot. Where did he start the event? In starting position number 12. And here comes John McKennedy. McKennedy with a bonsai move. Moves underneath David Etheridge. John McKennedy is up to position number 5.
If I'm John McKennedy, I'm thinking, boy, I'd like to see a caution flag here pretty soon. And, well, you know what? If you don't get it, he'll be talking about that down in Victory Lane.
He sure will. As the leader, Woody Pitcat, comes up on lap traffic. It is the Dolan race car. And we are at lap number 50 when they come back to the line. And the leaders have a problem with lap traffic. Jimmy Dolan almost takes out Woody Pitcat.
Oh, there goes the 69 car around. Unbelievable. Woody almost got taken out over there. Jimmy Dolan.
The number 32 car. All are down on pit road. John Gates is down there. Let's see if John can tell us more. John?
Yeah, the right side of Jeff Gallup's number 4 car is jacked up. Looks like they are changing the right rear and front right tire also as well on that number 4 car. So the crew is feverishly working there. Also the number 33 of Riccardi. That car is jacked up, and they are making some adjustments to the, it looks like to the suspension in the left rear of that machine. Also the 32, Mark Bacai. The Bacai construction number 32 car. It looks like some wedge adjustment there for him.
The work still continues down at pit road. Returning is the Meserve car. Returning also is the Ricciardi machine. Interestingly enough, the All-States Asphalt number 52 car of Woody Pitcat, they have had, as we've said, John, a very difficult season. They have probably led as many, if not more, laps than anyone, but they've been unable to close the deal. For whatever the reason might be, Lady Luck has not shined on car number 52. And we almost saw a perfect example of that just happening as Pitcat came up on lap traffic so quick that Dolan he was right there in the line of fire. And the Red Baron, Rowan Pennick, is still currently in 2nd. Among the quickest cars in the racetrack is Richard Savory. Savory started back in the 12th spot up to 3rd. It appears that Ted Christopher's tires might be going away just a bit. He's setting in the 4th spot. Or is this a little bit of strategy for him? And then in the 5th position, John McKennedy. Now, McKennedy started with that 29 car up in the 6th spot And we called it best at the start of this race. McKennedy just let the field go. He settled back into the top 10. We're looking at it on Periscope. Down the back straightaway, leader comes up on the lap car, which is Dolan. And then directly behind him, a mad scramble, and Dolan goes spinning around to the bottom of the racetrack. So the leader came back up. Different perspective, John, as we look at it again. And
I think a little bit of frustration on Woody's part there. Jimmy was clogging the whole area over there, and you really can't.
Just came up on him so fast.
Exactly.
And then no opportunity. So the situation was the way that it was. Tim Bennett, who was a former starter here at the Stafford Motor Speedway, took over the helm of being the race director, and he's done really well for himself in 3 outings.
Yep. Off to a great start in his new role.
So get ready. We're approaching lap 50, 30 circuits remaining, and it's not over with yet. Dolan's car, last car to leave pit road. Here we go. Pitcat and Pennick. It's like the SKs all over again. Here they come.
Green is in the air as we go back to racing now. TC right on the back end of car number 25 as they work through the first turn. Look at Richard Savory. He's on the bottom as they lunge off the back straightaway and into turn number 3.
Here comes Ted Christopher. Changes his line, changes his strategy. Here comes Savory up the hill, car number 99. And right there with him is John McKennedy. Mad scramble all the way back through the field. Leader is still Woody Pitcat, but Rowan Pennick glued to his back bumper. Further back in the field, Donnie Lashaway is coming to the front of the field. He's up to 9th.
Isn't that incredible, huh? He is all the way down to the back end of the field and has worked his way up to 9th position. And as I told someone the other day, you haven't really seen the real Donnie Lashaway. Lashaway is a very good race driver. He can get it done on the asphalt and on dirt. He's an accomplished dirt racer who has won his fair share of races.
So there's good racing action throughout the field. But Woody Pitcat, last time by 19.189. Woody Pitcat's last time was 19.189. Rowan Pennick's was 19.194. Richard Savory's was faster than both of them, 19.161.
Woody and Pennick pulling away a little bit on TC. Savory and McKennedy are going to have to roll up the sleeves and dig in here because, hey, we're approaching lap number 54 now, Ben.
We sure are, and we are still a ways to go. And the times continue to get quicker, and that's pretty amazing this late in the event. Down the back straightaway, Savory still all over the back bumper of Ted Christopher, setting in that 3rd spot. John McKennedy looking at timing and scoring. McKennedy turned to 19.070. Woody Pitcat turned to 19.073, John. They are equally as impressive. One's on the front and one's at the bottom of the top 5.
And behind them is Dave Etheridge in 6th spot. Chris Pasteryak is in 7th. Mike Willis Jr., 2nd in the point standings, is running 8th. 9th is David Schneider, and Donnie Lashua is in the 10th position.
They continue to run single file. Nobody stepping out of line. But believe you me, it will happen in the closing laps of this event. Meanwhile, John McKennedy. Remember how strong that Richard Savory looked a few laps ago? That car is starting to loosen up just a bit. Big motor, big engine. He can pull away from McKennedy, but McKennedy's got a car that works in the turns.
The cat off in another zip code as he pulls away from the 2nd place car, Rowan Pennick. He's in command right now, Ben.
He certainly is, and he continues to set a blistering pace, 19.093. That is the fastest car on the previous lap. Woody Pitcat is in a zone of his own at the front of the class. Meanwhile, don't count out Ted Christopher, Rowan Pennick, Savory, or John McKennedy. Here comes Ted Christopher. Bonsai move to the bottom, going, gone. Christopher moves into second. Pennick doesn't like it. And here comes Savory and McKennedy.
Right behind them as they go into turn number one. McKennedy stays center line into the turns. We got a caution. Yellow flag is on the speedway.
Caution flag is out.
15 will be racing on Saturday night. The main event qualifying on Friday, the 14th.
And remember, this series is brought to you in part by the good folks from Valente Auto Group. In addition to that, Sunoco is the official fuel of the Valente Modified Racing Series, provided by New England Racing Fuels. Get ready, John, because we are about to fire them back up. 20 circuits remaining. It is time to go. And Ted Christopher and Woody Pitcat know the meaning of that, and so don't the men in the rows that follow. Here they come. Off turn number 4. John Spence Jr. intense on the starter stand. There is the green, and Woody Pitcat and Christopher are in a dogfight battle for the lead.
With Pennick on the inside of the next row, and on the outside it's Savory on the throttle. Here we go. Down the back straightaway here at Stafford Motor Speedway. Pitcat with Pennick on the bottom, and on the outside TC's working him over in the Brady Bunch 0-0.
Here comes the Red Baron, Rowan Pennick. Digs in on the bottom of Ted Christopher. Side by side and wheel to wheel. Savory up to the 4th spot. John McKennedy still at 5. Further back, side by side racing with Pastriak, Gallup, along with the number 19 of Schneider, Willis, and Dylan Kopech.
Pitcat may have what it takes to go the entire distance in the lead, but I'll tell you, the racing that's going on behind him is going to get real good here.
Trouble. We've got car number 19. The Schneider car is involved in a melee, and spinning after the fact is Joe Doucette with the number 55 car.
So they are trying to get that thing aligned and get Chris back out there on the speedway, but everything else looks good except for that front end.
Well, the Pastriak's been a part of racing here at Stafford for a lot of years. Carl Pastriak won the rookie honors way back, and I believe it was 1976 or 77. And then Charlie Pastriak has been very strong. Jerry down at the end of pit road has a new tool that he's using to signal the competitors to make them aware when they can rejoin in the competition there as well.
We're showing that thing off quite a bit this afternoon.
He certainly was. Very proud of that.
He certainly is.
Oh, down the back straightaway, Ricciardi stopped, and Meserve did a little bit of a jack up underneath the back of the race car. Here they come. John Spence, a powerhouse in the starter stand. And Woody Pitcat.
These restarts. Look at McKennedy getting the nose of the 29 on the inside of Savory as they drag race down the back straightaway. Pitcat's got pressure now. It's coming at him off of turn number 4. Call it, Ben.
There's no question about it. Here comes Christopher. Pennick is there. Look at John McKennedy. He's tired of being a follower. He wants to be a leader. John McKennedy sees daylight on the bottom. He pulls down. Underneath, there's the Red Baron. Willis is in trouble on the backstretch.
Certainly is.
But we still remain under green as they come back to the line.
Willis drawing the attention from John Spence on the flag stand. He's going all the way to the back here as he's way off the pace.
And now, keep your eyes on Gallup. He is back up into the top 6. Meanwhile, off the turn, Woody Pitcat. Like days of old, Superman at the front of the field. Pitcat has the cape flat, and he is flying as the leader of the event. Here comes John McKennedy again, trying to get a run for it. Now, McKennedy runs super modifieds, and he loved this racetrack. When they brought the supers here to Stafford, he was almost there.
He looked to the bottom off turn number 4. Shoots into the number 1 corner, right behind the Pennick car, down the back straightaway. Let's see what he's going to do as they go into turn number 3. Not able to get much done there. Keeping an eye on Jeffrey Gallup as he tries to gallop and catch up to the 99 of Richard Savory.
Good racing throughout the field. Here comes Christopher again. Comes off the turn strong. Here comes John McKennedy. But look out because the Red Baron continues to shake him off. McKennedy gets a bite to the bottom. John McKennedy has moved on to the podium.
What a great
John
move.
McKennedy is up to the third spot.
What a great move by the East Chumps from Massachusetts racer, 29 years young. This guy has won a lot of races, and right now he is second in the standings for features run in this series. Recently went by Les Hinckley. He's 11 from the top from Kirk Alexander to take over the all-time winners list.
And this time, when they come back to the stripe, there's the big man on the starter stand with double hands in the air. 10 circuits to go. 5 miles left in this shootout for the Valente Moto 5 race series.
Quite a show here for Woody Pitcat here tonight, trying to keep it all together. Heading down that back straightaway. TC now trying to hold off a kid that asked him tons of questions over the years. You want to talk about learning from the best. John McKennedy, anytime you'd see him in the same event as TC, he'd always be asking Christopher tons and tons of questions. And right now, he's going to try to answer here, heading into turn number 3, still working over Ted Christopher for the number 2 spot. Here he comes.
There is the shot. We'll call it the money shot, as John McKennedy is up to second. Christopher has to settle back into the third spot. Christopher has never seen somebody make that bottom move on turn number 4 like that to pass him here in Stafford.
Recall back to July, Ben, when John McKennedy went into turn number 3 on the last lap, and he passed Russ Hersey for the win off of 4 coming to the checkers. Does he have time to do it here?
73. Now when they come back to the stripe, 74 circuits, lap traffic, Woody Pitcat. Spotter is telling him that John McKennedy is coming. Look at these times. McKennedy is in the 18-second bracket, 18.888. Woody Pitcat, the leader, is 19.066. What does that mean in layman's terms? John McKennedy is coming, and there is 5 laps to go, 2.5 miles to make the magic.
We could be in for another thriller from Mr. McKennedy as he tries to wheel in Woody Pitcat as they go down the back straightaway. I was in conversation with former Fox Motorsports reporter Nick Berggren a couple of weeks ago. He told me his perspective on McKennedy, one of the best short track racers in the country.
I agree with that, as now Woody Pitcat, I put him in that same class of superstars. Meanwhile, Savory is really working over the Ted Christopher machine. Less than 3 laps remaining, 1.5 miles. And John McKennedy is coming. Woody Pitcat knows he's there. Pitcat starts to string it out. It's not over with yet. John McKennedy reels him in. This time, popsicle sticks are up. 2 laps to go.
Down the front straightaway into the turn. They got a slower car that lies ahead of them as they go into the first and second corners. Now they're going to get on the throttle down the back straightaway. John McKennedy saying, come on, let's go. As a look at TC on the back straightaway. He's going to be able to go on with Savory as they're side by side. Heading into turn number 3.
Up the racetrack.
Oh, Savory.
Ted Christopher slides up the racetrack. Richard Savory becomes a victim of circumstances there. And ladies and gentlemen,
That's a great analysis, Lawrence Welk.
now, check this out.
What you got?
Because we've got Rowan Pennick, the Red Baron, to the outside of John McKennedy. But look at the youngster, Jeff Gallup.
Wow.
This is the night of his racing career here at Stafford. And then David Etheridge, my buddy on the outside of that second row. And then Dylan Kopech. And you called it before, Donnie Lashaway is among the shining stars.
It's unbelievable. He comes on strong late here. Jack Bateman's got to be really, really pleased with the way that car's been going. Green flag is back in the air, and look at Pennick's on the outside. The Kennedys dealing with Rowan Pennick. Off the corner, it'll be John McKennedy. Jeffrey Gallup to the inside, challenging for the number 2 spot. We got a pair of red cars dicing here and duking it out for the runner-up position.
There's no question about it. Trouble now. We've got 4 cars spinning in turn number 4.
Brandon Dion's involved, also Dan Meservey Jr., Chris Pastriak.
To the outside of John McKennedy. Row number 2. Jeff Gallup. And David Etheridge. Row 3. Dylan Kopech. Donnie Lashaway. Schneider. And outside of Schneider is Brandon Dion. We haven't talked much about him, but he's been a factor as well. Here we go. Green, white checker. The most famous words in racing.
Watching the flag stand. John motioning. Calling them out now. Here they come. Green flags back on the speedway. Back to racing as they lunge off into turn number 1. Penick continues to work from the high side. Settles in behind the number 29.
Look at David Etheridge up on the high side of Jeff Gallup. Gallup guards the inside lane. Here comes Rowan Penick. White flag is out. 1 lap to go.
Donnie Lasher was going to go to the inside of Dylan Kopeck and try to wrestle that position away. Down the back straightaway, they continue to go at it. Kopeck and Lashua, and Kopeck is able to beat him down the back straightaway.
Here is the checker. Off the turn. John McKennedy has done it again. Rowan Penick is in for second, and Jeff Gallup by